Hello everyone, welcome back to the online lecture series on microwave and radar engineering. This is Anand Rao, your course instructor. See, in the previous lectures we discussed about various microwave components like VSWR, Klystron power supply, Klystron mount with tube, isolator, variable attenuator. Likewise, we have discussed so many microwave components. After that, we discussed some of the microwave measurements called frequency measurement and wavelength measurement. After that, we discussed attenuation measurement. In this lecture, we will discuss about impedance measurement. See, before going to discuss about this topic, let us see what are the outcomes of this lecture. See, at the end of this lecture, student will be able to demonstrate microwave bin setup, which includes microwave components. The microwave bin setup itself a combination of so many microwave components, right? After that, perform impedance measurement using microwave bin setup. How we can perform impedance measurement by using microwave bin setup, we'll see from this topic, right? See, impedance at microwave frequency can be measured in using any of the following three methods. To perform this impedance measurement, we will use these three measurements. See, the first one is impedance measurement using magic T, and the second one, impedance measurement using the slotted section, and the third one, impedance measurement using reflectometer. These are the three methods which we are follow to measure the unknown impedance. Let us see one by one. The first one is what? Impedance measurement using magic T. This already discussed in the first unit. One of its magic T application is impedance measurement using magic T. How we can measure unknown impedance by using magic T? Here we will see. See, your magic T is a 4-port device, right? That has 4 ports like this. See, this is port 1, port 2, port 3 and port 4. This is your magic T junction, right? See, if we apply input at this port, if we apply some microwave source at the third port, what happens? What is the property of that? It is equally distributed between this port and this port, right? If we apply some source at the third port, that signal is equally distributed between port 1 and port 2. Right? See, here your port 1 is connected to the standard variable known impedance Your port 1 is connected to the standard variable known impedance and port 2 is connected to the unknown impedance. Port 3 is connected to the microwave source and port 4 is connected to null detector. Right? See, if we apply some input at this port, this third port, what happens? That powers are equally distributed between this port and this port. From this Z1 is impedance is equals to Z2 impedance. We can conclude, like, right? Okay. See, if we apply input at this port, we can get equal outputs come out of first and second ports. In the first port, we can observe standard variable known impedance. At the second port, we can see the unknown impedance. From this, whatever the impedance present at first port, the same impedance exists in the second port also. So, both the impedances are equal, right? See, in the Magic T, one of its application, see, this is port 1, port 2, port 3 and port 4. See this, here microwave source is connected at third port, standard variable known impedance connected at first port, the unknown impedance connected at second port, and a null detector is connected at fourth port. See, if we apply input at this port, we can get equal outputs come out of first and second ports, right? There is no power come out of this port, right? Here the condition is, whenever the null detector value is 0, both the impedances are equal, then only the null detector value should be 0. That is nothing but your bridge is balanced, right? Your impedance connected at first port is the same as the impedance exists at second port. If both the impedances are equal, you can get the null detector value should be 0. That is a balancing condition. So, we can easily say that this unknown impedance is same as your standard variable known impedance. Simple. As simple as that. Okay. Your standard variable impedance is suppose some x. The same x value exists in as a second port also. So, your unknown impedance is same as your standard variable known impedance. Then only the bridge is balanced. Once the bridge is balanced, your null detector value is 0. That's it. Okay. See, a Magic T has been used in the form of a bridge for measuring impedance. For measuring that impedance, we can arrange that Magic T in the form of a bridge, right? See, okay, the net wave reaching the null detector is 1 by root 2 into A3 rho 1 minus 1 by root 2 into 1 by root 2 A3 rho 2, that is equals to 1 by 2 A3 rho 1 minus rho 2. Okay, how this exists, we'll see here. See, this is port 1, this is port 2, here it is port 3 and here it is port 4. See, if we apply A3 power at this port, what happens? 1 by root 2 into A3 power come towards first port the same 1 by root 2 into A3 power come out of second port, right? If we apply input at this port, the power is equally distributed between this port and this port, right? If we apply A3 power at third port, you can get 1 by root 2 into A3 power come out of port 1, the same amount of 1 by root 2 into A3 power come out of second port, right? There is no power come out of this port, right? Now, see here we connected one standard variable known impedance. See that standard variable known impedance, standard variable known impedance, and here connected one unknown impedance. Unknown impedance, and here connect one null detector, right? If your standard variable known impedance is mismatched with this port, what happens? Automatically it will reflect it back, right? That reflection is represented by rho. So whenever the standard variable known impedance mismatched with this port, it will reflect that reflected wave like this, A3 into rho 1 power come towards this direction, right? In the same way, from here also, this 1 by root 2 into A3 into rho 2 power reflect towards the junction when unknown impedance is mismatched with port 2, right? Once this 1 by root 2 A3 into rho 1 power enter into this junction, again it divided into two directions. See, if 1 by root 2 into A3 rho 1 power enter into the junction, see, the positive powers will come out of this, right? Sorry, not positive, this power, half of the power enter into this port, the same amount of power enter into this port. What is a half? That half is 1 by root 2 into 1 by root 2 again A3 into rho 1 power. Rho 1 power enter into null detector. See, here the reflected wave is 1 by root 2 into A3 into rho 2, right? Once this is enter into the junction, again it divides into two directions. See, here minus 1 by root 2 into 1 by root 2 A3 rho 2 power enter into fourth port. Okay, the same amount of power, positive power enter into third port. Okay, now the net value exists at the null detector is, see, this one is 1 by root 2 into 1 by root 2 A3 into rho 1 power, that is a positive, and here this 1 by root 2 into 1 by root 2 A3 into rho 2, that is a minus. So this plus and this minus, these two will be like this. See, here 1 by root 2 into 1 by root 2 into A3 rho 1 minus 1 by root 2 into 1 by root 2 A3 rho 2, that is equals to 1 by 2 A3 into rho 1 minus rho 2. From this we can conclude rho 1 is equals to rho 2, right? See, for perfect balancing bridge, null detector equals to 0. See, this 1 by root 2 A3 rho 1 minus rho 2 is equals to 0. From this, rho 1 is equals to rho 2, that is equals to 0. Rho 1 is equals to rho 2. That rho is a reflection coefficient. That reflection coefficient in terms of impedances, that is, if it is rho 1, Z1 minus ZZ by Z1 plus ZZ, that is belongs to rho 1. In the same way, Z2 minus ZZ by Z2 plus ZZ, that is from rho 2. Okay, so from that your Z1 impedance is Z2, then only the null detector value should be 0. So this is a way we have to easily find out the unknown impedance by using magic T. See here where ZZ is known wave impedance and Z1 is unknown impedance. Okay, see, okay, coming to the next type of impedance measurement. Impedance measurement using slotted line. This is second method of measurement of impedance, that is impedance measurement using slotted line. See here, incident and reflected waves will be present proportional to the mismatch of the load under test. When the reflections will happen is there any mismatch between your source and load, automatically the signals will reflected back. That reflected signals will create a standing wave patterns. That standing waves. See, whose impedance is to be measured resulting in standing waves. If any mismatch happened at the load side, it will create some standing waves. The standing waves will exist in the waveguide, right? See, using slotted waveguide and with the load ZL, the position of V maximum and V minimum can be accurately determined. See, this is your microwave bench setup. That microwave bench setup consists of microwave components. That components will be like this: Klystron power supply, Klystron mount with tube, isolator, variable attenuator, frequency meter, slotted section, tunable probe, power meter, then load. This is your microwave bench setup. Okay, in the laboratory we can see this microwave bench setup. Initially we have to follow some of the procedure to get the maximum signal present in the power meter. Okay, we have to follow some procedure. See, before going to switch on the Klystron power supply, the beam voltage should be fully anti-clockwise, the Rippler voltage fully clockwise, the HT button is in off position, the modulation selection switch in AM position, right? The meter selection switch in voltage position. Okay, then this variable attenuator is in no operation position and frequency meter is kept at one side, and this tunable probe also we have to kept at one side. Okay, and this power meter. See, once you switch on the Klystron power supply and cooling fan, you have to wait whether the current is generated in the Klystron power supply or not. We can observe some saturation current present on the Klystron power supply display, right? Once you are getting the saturation current, then you have to apply the beam voltage. Vary that beam voltage until 280 or 300 based on the requirement. Once you can apply the beam voltage, you have to check whether your current is 20 milliamps below or not. Your current should not exceed 20 milliamps. Okay. Once you are getting 20 milliamps current display on the Klystron power supply display, the Klystron mount with the tube consists a plunger. By adjusting that plunger, you have to tune your signal at the maximum level. Okay. Once the plunger adjustment is over, we'll see the variable attenuator. Variable attenuator also we have to kept in no operation position. Then frequency meter also we have to kept at one side, either top or bottom side. Okay. The slotted section that should be in leftmost position, right? Here the load is connected, that is whose impedance is to be measured, that load we have to connect it after the slotted section, right? Once you follow all these procedures, you can get some of the waveform. That waveform is a standing wave pattern. See, this kind of pattern we are getting from that bench setup. See, this kind of pattern we are getting from the first bench setup, right? See, this is your first bench setup. Coming to the second bench setup, the main difference between the first bench setup and second bench setup is, in the first bench setup we can observe load after the slotted section, but here in place of load we have to replace with shorting plate. Okay, previously in place of this there is a load, the impedance whose device, the device whose impedance is to be measured, that device we have to connect it after the slotted section in the first bench setup. Coming to the second bench setup, in place of that load we have to replace it with one shorting plate, right? See, now the load ZL is replaced by a short circuit and the shift in minimum is measured. Okay, previously in the first bench setup we can observe this kind of waveform. Once you replace that load impedance from the first bench setup and we have to replace with that shorting plate, we have to measure some minimum value. If your minimum is observed, that minimum is shift towards the left, that is inductive impedance. If the same minimum shifted to right, that is capacitive impedance, that we can observe from this. See, okay, see, if the minimum is shifted to the left, then the impedance is inductive impedance. Okay, in the first bench setup what we observe, after the slotted section we connect some load impedance. In the second bench setup, in place of load impedance simply replace it with shorting plate. Okay, once you connect the shorting plate to that bench setup, if the minimum is shift towards the left direction, that will create this inductive impedance, right? If the same minimum is shift towards the right direction, see, if the minimum is shifted to the right, then the impedance is capacitive impedance. If the minimum shift towards the left, that is inductive impedance. If the same minimum shift towards the right direction, that is capacitive impedance. Okay. Now, unknown impedance can be obtained by usual methods using the data recording and a Smith chart. By using Smith chart, we can find out the unknown impedance given by any load, right? See, the impedance and the reflection coefficient rho can be obtained in both magnitude and phase. In this method, we can measure vector, that is magnitude and phase. We can identify the two quantities, that one is a magnitude and second one is a phase. Okay. See, the first bench setup, the bench setup consists of a load impedance that will produce this kind of waveform. The second bench, after remove that load from the first bench and connect to the slotted shorting plate to the first bench, that is nothing but second bench. In the second bench setup, we can, if we observe this kind of minimum shift towards the left direction, that will create inductive impedance. If the same minimum shift towards the right direction, that will give capacitive impedance, right? Now coming to the third impedance measurement, that is measurement of impedance using reflectometer method. Okay, coming to the third impedance measurement, that is measurement of impedance using reflectometer. See, the reflectometer indicates magnitude of impedance but not the phase angle, whereas a slotted line waveguide measurement gives both. In the previous impedance measurement using slotted section, in that gives both the magnitude and the phase angle. Okay, but in this method, that measurement of impedance using reflectometer method, it provides only magnitude but not the phase angle. Okay. See, a typical setup for reflectometer technique where two directional couplers are used to sample the incident power Pi and reflected power PR from the load. Okay, already we know the property of directional coupler. The directional coupler is a 4-port device. Okay, the incident power we are connected at input side, that is a first port. We can get received power. That power is represented by PR. That PR we can observe at the second port. Anyway, the third port is a forward coupled power. Okay, and fourth port is a back power. Okay, see, both the directional couplers are identical. Here, for this measurement, we are using two directional couplers. The two directional couplers are identical, but only the difference is the direction. Okay, see that both the directional couplers are identical except the direction. See, the magnitude of reflection coefficient rho can be directly obtained on the reflectometer, from which impedance can be calculated. That which impedance we have to calculate directly taken from the reflectometer. See that this is a block diagram of your impedance measurement using reflectometer method. See, from reflectometer reading, we have the reflection coefficient is represented by rho. That rho is equals to square root of reflected power by incident power. Now, knowing rho, we can calculate VSWR and impedance by using relations. Okay, see, here rho is a reflection coefficient. That reflection coefficient is square root of PR by PI. From that we can calculate the VSWR. That VSWR is equals to 1 plus rho by 1 minus rho. Okay, from that we have to perform the impedance. That impedance in terms of the reflection coefficient in terms of impedances, the Z minus ZG by Z plus ZG. Okay, from that we can calculate the impedance. Okay, see, this is our block diagram, that is measuring impedance using reflectometer. Let us see one by one. Here there is a microwave source. That microwave source is a combination of Klystron power supply and Klystron mount with tube. Okay, after that there is an attenuator. here this microwave power generates the input power, that is a Pi. After that there is a attenuator followed by forward directional coupler. Already I mentioned the directional coupler is a 4-port device, right? See, this is your directional coupler. See, this is your input power, that is a Pi. This one is a PR, and this one is PF, that is a forward coupled power, and this one is a PB, back power. This one is back power. Okay, once again I repeat. See, here this port is incident port, that input is applied at this port, so this one is input port, and this one is a received port, and this one is a forward coupled port, and this one is a back port. Okay, see, if we assume this forward directional coupler in this manner, if we apply some input to this port, see, maximum power will come out of this port, a small amount of leakage power come out of this port. Why? Because this is a combination of two rectangular waveguides separated by a common wall. That common wall consists of small tiny holes. Okay, through that tiny holes, some amount of power is leakaged. That leakage power come out of this port. That power is coupled power. Right? If we assume your directional coupler like this, see, if we apply input at this port, the maximum power come out of this port, a small amount of leakage power come out of this port. That power is Pi by 100. That amount of power come out of this port. That is fed to the forward detector. This forward detector receives this Pi by 100 amount of power. Right? Coming to this, here this one is a forward directional coupler. See, this one is a forward directional coupler. Here this one is a reverse directional coupler. The forward directional coupler will be like this, but the reverse directional coupler will be like this. Okay, see, this power enter into this port. Okay, the maximum power will come out of this port. Right, a very small amount of leakage power enter into this port, but here already terminated with matched load. So there is no reflections from this port. Okay, so because of this back port, there is no power come out of this port. Right? See, whatever the power come towards this direction, that power enter into this directional coupler, and it will come, maximum power will come out of this port. Very small amount of leakage power enter into this port. This already terminated with matched load. So there is no reflections coming from this port. Whatever the power entering into this port, the powers are completely absorbed by the matched load. Okay, so there is no power come out of this port. Right? See, once this power enter into this way, once the power enter into this direction, here there is a load ZL. Okay, if load is not perfectly matched with this port, there will be a reflection. That reflected power is PR. Right? Due to this mismatch, some power will reflected back. That reflected power will come towards this direction. Okay, the maximum power will come out of this port. A very small amount of leakage power come out of this port. So thus that small amount of leakage power is this PR by 100 power enter towards reverse detector. The reverse detector will detect this PR by 100 amount of power. Right? So these two are forward detector and the reverse detector. These two are fed to the reflectometer. That reflectometer directly gives the impedance, that reflected power. That reflected power rho is equals to square root of reflected P reflected by P incident, that is a reflected power by incident power, that is equals to PR by 100 by Pi by 100 whole root. Okay, this is your reflection coefficient. from this reflection coefficient, we can easily find out the impedance, that reflection coefficient rho is equals to, see that? See, this SWR meter, that is VSWR meter, is represented by S, that S is equals to 1 plus rho by 1 minus rho, and that rho in terms of impedances, that is a Z by Z plus ZG by Z minus ZG. See, where ZG is a known wave impedance and Z is an unknown impedance, right? See, due to the directional property of the couplers, there will be no interference between forward and reverse waves. Okay, because of this directional property, there is no interference between the forward directional coupler and backward directional coupler. Okay, so the reflectometer accuracy is greatest at low VSWR. Okay, so that is low reflection coefficient. This is what your impedance measurement by using reflectometer method, right? See, these are the references followed for this lecture. Thank you.